we have Elizabeth Mutuku, my colleague at the Bomas of Kenya. I think that's a venue for the public participation here in Nairobi. Good morning, Elizabeth. Bring us up to speed with what's happening where you are.
Very good morning, Indemuli, all the way from the Bomas of Kenya, where public participation for the Nairobi and the 17 constituencies of Nairobi County, the residents are participating on the public participation, or rather on the impeachment motion of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. We've been here from 8 a.m. when the doors were opened, and from the gates, security has been heightened in this space from the gates, and there is thorough checkup from the cars and even the residents and Kenyans who are streaming here in Bomas of Kenya, where this exercise will be taking place for the next close to 11 hours from now. And the interesting thing which I've noted from this space is that Kenyans and large numbers of Kenyans are streaming in despite of the security. And remember, when you're getting to the auditorium where the public participation will be taking place, you're not allowed to go in with your bag, with goods, with a lot of items, and water specifically is not allowed. In the event you need to take medication, you are allowed to have your bottle labeled from the auditorium door, and you leave it there, and the moment you will be required, or rather you will be requiring your medication, that is when you will be allowed in the social hall, or rather you will be allowed back to take your medication. One of the which I've noted in there is that they have the forms where Kenyans will be registering themselves, and they are seated as per constituencies. That is the 17 constituencies. If you're from Langata, if you're from Embakasi South, you're seated in different spaces, and therefore you will be called. Remember, this participation will be going on orally, and also you can fill forms. I have seen forms in English language, well, Swahili, with all 11 charges, and you're able to put your name and also say why, the reasons why you feel the deputy should remain or even should go home, whether you agree with the charges, among other key issues which have inside there. But then I would like also to hear Kenyans, because they are here with me. They would be telling me why they are here and why they think this process is so important. Good morning. How are you? Ambassador, you've been here since morning. I saw you. Why do you think Kenya, you've seen a large number of Kenyans, and I'm left wondering, why is this process so important to them, unlike any other process?
Thank you. This is a very important process to the Kenyans, because remember, they are the people who woke up early to go and vote. These are the people who have been expecting and anticipating service delivery from government. So it is their responsibility to be able to have a say in the government of the day's running matters. And they have an opportunity today to be able to give their view, and also to give a word, their voice, as pertains to what's happening in the country. Right now, you know, many Kenyans have been anticipating services, water, education, agriculture, energy. And when this is not happening, Kenyans ask themselves, in the country, and is politics really a priority? Is this what is happening a priority right now? Are the problems that Kenyans are going through a priority, or politics is a priority? So that's why Kenyans want to give their voice, and we are very eager to hear what they will say. On the ground, they have engaged with a few, and the few are saying, I think, Madam President, what we want water learning in our taps. We want to know if our children will be able to access to secondary in January efficiently. They want to know more about the Adani issue around it, corruption in the country, what's happening. So Kenyans are very eager. Look, I think they are wrong cues. This tells you how beautiful country and how Kenyans are committed to their great nation. So I think what's happening today, we want to ask ourselves, 2 years down the line, we went into an election, and we did elections. I don't want to implement what's happening today, but I want to say that considering the budgets that we spend, the money that we spend to do action, and the time that we spend, that only tells you that we shouldn't, like 2 years, 3 years again, be thinking of another election in Kenya.
There has been There has been a question of public participation, and especially when Kenya views whether they are considered fully and they are incorporated. Do you think this will happen after today's process?
Now, unfortunately, you remember the finance bill. We went through participation. We are some of the people who gave our submissions, and many Kenyans gave their submissions about the finance bill, both 2023 and 2024 finance bill. I'm talking about public participation. Yes, it is a constitutional provision, but what happened? Most of the times, the Kenyan voice is ignored. I hope that this time the Kenyan voice will be, tafadhali, Parliament, I'm speaking to you, that this time you have to include and you have to acknowledge that Kenyans have woken up and look at them in big numbers. How then can you go ahead and ignore all these big numbers? How then can you go and ignore all these voices? Remember that this is their country. And we feel so bad when Kenyans participate like in a finance bill process and then it's quashed away. The public participation, I think it is kept under the shelf, gathering dust there and not really considered in the ultimate result of the process. So this one, tafadhali, Kenyans are speaking today, and we expect that the Parliament will salute today what Kenyans will come along with. And I think Kenyans are tired of games, political games in the country, political competition, and we are telling ourselves that we can come together as a nation. Because you know what happens is that when political temperatures are high, as today, then the public service delivery is compromised. Right now, nobody's thinking about our roads, our water, our shiv. Right now, we have 9,000 patients because of dialysis. They need to be taken care of. We need to streamline the social health insurance fund right now. Who is thinking about this? But we are thinking about how many votes will I get from this region? How many votes will I get from that region? I think that must come to an end in the country. We must be a country that is focused on sustainable development, especially right now when our economy is low, the cost of living is very high, cost of energy is very high. Please, government and everybody who is tasked with the responsibility of public service, is a high time that we ensure that we focus on the right things of the country. Otherwise, wananchi are giving their views today. We only wish and we only ask the agencies of government, especially the National Assembly, that today's public participation, look at these people, they have left their jobs. They have left their offices, they have left their families, they have left their workplaces, they are here. And then whatever voice they're going to give in the country is ignored. This shouldn't happen, tafadhali.
Also, there is the question of political mobilization to the people we are seeing today. Do you think it's all about members of parliament and other leaders mobilizing, or from whatever you've seen, do you think it's voluntarily or mobilization?
Good. One, I think what we have been hearing, even in social media space, is that Kenyans have really been up on this one. I think for the first time, Kenyans are feeling things are going wrong. And as much as we have mobilization out there, Kenyans are really mobilizing themselves because they see their country is headed the wrong direction. Remember, we had 207 to 08 political, post-election violence. Recently, we still had chaos in this country pertaining to, you remember the Gen Zs were on the streets, yeah? So Kenyans, for the first time, I think this is the time that we are respectable democracy because they are participating fully in the process. And Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Kenya has given Kenyans express authority and mandate that we call the power of self-governance. So that's why they are here. I think it's their own volition to be able to participate in this process. All we ask again, can their voices be heard?
Thank you so much, Ambassador Esther Waringa, for speaking to us. Habari gani, uko namna gani? Asante sana kuamua kuzungumza nasi. Lakini nitakuuliza, ni nini English, all right. Why are you here? Why do you think this process is so important to you today?
Thank you very much. This process is very important because it is now subjecting us to public opinion. We have come here just to give out our opinion in regard to what is happening in the political situation in the country.
From where you are seated, do you feel this is the right time we are going through this political turmoil?
It is not the right time. Actually, this time we should be doing more developments. What we should be doing here is the participation. Especially another road can be upgraded. But here we have come only for the political situation, just to see if at all maybe somebody is wrong, somebody maybe something. there is nothing which has been done wrong, but it is just political gimmick. Yes.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. Ningependa kuzungumza na kijana mmoja. Adds to this. Habari yako, unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Actelic Twist. Mimi ni mwanafunzi katika university na nafanya law. So ni lazima kudia hii process kwa sababu it's a very critical process. Na mimi nataka kuambia wananchi wa Kenya wasidanganywe na bwana kwa sababu ni mzuri kwa lakini instead economy focus at kwa meza yeye anafoka deputy.
We do apologize for that lack of signal from Bomas of Kenya. We'll be going back there shortly to get more details from there. Bomas of Kenya, that's the venue in Nairobi for the collection of public views on this matter of the impeachment of the Deputy President. Let's now take a break. You're still watching Morning Cafe. We'll be back